Stellar's got some big news with Meridian right around the bend. Will we see some price action for XLM fans? We'll talk about it. Vivo Power, big fans of Ripple, RLUSD, and XRP made a choice. I've got their PR newswire action. Yeah, we'll talk XRP price. The Whitehouse said, yo, we need that crypto market structure bill, but how fast will we get it? We'll talk about players raising capital along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Along with the crypto market, a mix of red and green on the screen. That's why I got my background as a mix of red and blue. Yeah, blue. Now, before we get into crypto news, you know the deal. You're the viewer and you matter most. That's why I share your comments at the beginning of every video. Jordan Smith's hanging out with us as I watch the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. You also know the catchphrases. Well done. Keisha says, I say lots of naughty things. Not only a warning, it's a lifestyle. Shirts to come. I love it. I say lots of naughty things. I do. It's a warning, and I might say lots of naughty things for the rest of this video. Greg Jewell says, who are they seizing the crypto from? I'm talking about the United States government. Drug dealers who? Yeah, it's actually who. The biggest crypto the United States government has seized from has been Silk Road. There's been a lot of seizures. Lately, there was like a $10 million one. Okay, essentially this, all right? With the strategic reserve in the United States government, they don't want to add to debt, all right? Which means they're not going to what? Spend money to buy it. So if they could seize crypto from nefarious, naughty people doing nefarious things, that's how they're going to add to their strategic reserve. So unless players out there are buying kilos with XRP, the government's not going to what, everyone? Own XRP. The problem is this, though. It's already in the circulating supply, everything that the government is what? Taking, so it's not really helping us out at all. Unfortunately for me, I had to take my little doggy to the vet. Yeah, she's not doing good. She's having autoimmune issues. You can tell by how pale and white her nose is. She's got a super low red blood cell count. Her autoimmune system is really messed up, so they've got her on some steroids now. She's a 10-year-old white German Shepherd who has climbed some of the highest mountains out there with me. Yes, she is a champion of several 14ers. Back from the vet to bring you the news. Leia, what a sweet, beautiful doggy. Bitcoin, 111th. Fuck the heat map. Let's just get into the news. Metaplanet raises $1.4 billion to expand their BTC treasury. All right, I'm bringing this up because companies out there are raising capital to get into BTC. But if the company sucks balls to begin with and is losing money, buying BTC isn't going to get them out of the gutter. It's not like BTC is going to go to like $80 million and all of a sudden turn these companies around. But companies that have extra cash and want to get out of the fiat death spiral are going to do well hedging against that. Well, because of inflation and so forth, okay? Metaplanet is using other people's money now to get into it. In a statement, CEO Simon Gerovich said Metaplanet has finalized its international offering, upsized from 180 million underwritten to 385, so they're just diluting their stock, baby. Diluting their stock to buy BTC, another BTC proxy company. Same thing as Strategy. This is just the Japanese version of it. Thought I'd share it with you. All right, Whitehouse. Remember, new crypto chief is now what? Racing to push the crypto market structure bill. Patrick Witt, the new executive director of the president's crypto council, wants what? Wants the Senate to hurry. But the Senate is like, bro, this is all smoke and mirrors. We don't want to hurry because we want to protect stablecoins because that means the governments can buy debt. Patrick Witt is pushing for Congress to pass the Senate's cryptocurrency market structure bill and is closely monitoring the entire process. He said the current draft is a big improvement from its earlier versions, has received much positive feedback from the senators who have reviewed it. But yo, we were supposed to have regs by now. Overpromising and underdelivering? Way to go, United States government. He explained that the bill needs support from political parties, both sides, and at least 60 votes in the Senate, which means what? We're going to need the Democrats to hop on board. Witness team wants to make sure that the bill can get the majority votes without compromising how effective it will be at meeting the needs of both lawmakers and the cryptocurrency industry. Witt's office is also urging the Senate Banking Committee and the Senate Ag Committee to finalize the bill, collect feedback from committee members, and move it to the floor. Essentially, here's the deal. We're going to get markup at the end of this month. So that sets us up for a more of end of October to middle of November chance of getting crypto regs. Yeah. Although the bill missed the August deadline set by President Trump, again, don't promise things you can't follow through on, Witt said the bill addresses about 80% of the crypto market, which isn't covered by the Genius stablecoin law. And in fact, the Clarity Act isn't going to do it. That's why what's going to happen is this is going to go to markup, get approval from the Senate, then it's going to go to the House, and we have to hope that the House likes this bill. Talk about stablecoins. Why? Because Stellar's got a lot of stablecoin juice on their chain. In fact, Stellar has $721 million worth of stablecoins on their chain. Avalanche has $2.3 billion. Aptos 1.1 billion. How much does Ripple have on theirs? Well, let's take a look. 171 million. HBAR only 150 million. So there's a pretty big discrepancy between big and small. Now that being said, Stellar is definitely blowing the doors off of it, but the majority of the stablecoins found on Stellar's chain are Benji stablecoins, which is what? Something that you and I can't participate in. Now, Vivo Power, which is one of those companies out there that are a little fishy, if you get me, they decided to accept RLUSD for payments, not XRP. They believe in XRP, but they also believe in Ripple as a company. So for private shares, they're going with RLUSD. Let's pay attention to this story because, again, Vivo Power and other companies like that are choosing RLUSD for a reason. And even though they're choosing RLUSD, remember, the majority of RLUSD is found on what chain, everyone? Ethereum's chain. Ah, yes. Think about that. The majority of RLUSD is found on what chain? Ethereum's chain. Now, Stellar's got Meridian coming up, 2025, and that's happening in the 17th and 18th of September in Brazil, hanging out like this. Yeah, I know. So, in Meridian, I'm sure we're going to be hearing about building. I'm sure we're going to be hearing about stablecoin action. But will any of that news cause price action? Overall in the crypto market, we're still doing good with altcoin season. Yes, 52 out of 100 is good. Do we wish it was a little bit juicy? Of course we do. But right now, the market's waiting for what? Guidance. That guidance is going to come very soon, on the 11th, by the form of CPI data. XLM's price, well, it appears we hit a bottom here on the 31st of August. Since then, we've started moving on up. The low at that time was 34 cents. We're now up about 10% from that time. XLM's price is based heavily upon what? Speculation and the optimism of regs. Which means, yes, everyone. When we start talking about market structure, Bill, that's when I think a lot of us are going to be looking at XLM to start moving again. So when will XLM move? No, it won't be Meridian. It's going to be when market structure starts getting the juice in the news. And when is that supposed to happen? Well, I told you earlier, but if you didn't listen, we're going to get some committee markup action at the end of this month. But the real juice should be in mid-October through November. So Stellar fans, your two biggest pumps have come with regs. Your third big pump should come with what? Senate market structure, digital assets. Keep your ears, eyes open. Volume 350 million over the last 24 hours for XLM. Most recent highs have been 51 cents, but we have seen that the market is not ready to hold that as of yet. In fact, the market for XLM is not ready to hold 40 cents as of yet. As we've seen, since it hits those peaks, players have taken profits. Why? Because the market wasn't ready for regs yet. That August deadline was a big letdown, wasn't it? And that letdown, that promise that we got from the Whitehouse has meant what? Players selling. They took their profits. XRP volume right around $6 billion. Over the last month for Xrp, we've seen the same thing. Players taking profits. Why? We ain't ready for Regs yet. Now, granted, Spanish banking giant BBVA is going to use Ripple technology to help out with custody stuff, but that doesn't help with XRP. Vivo Power using RLUSD for stablecoin payments really isn't going to help out XRP either. But what is Regs talking rate cuts. The rates we're going to know about soon enough. And Regs, like I said, will get just the tip at the end of this month and more in the following months. So let's see if the Senate lets us down or if they're going to overpromise and underdeliver just like the White House. Because remember, we were supposed to have a crypto strategic reserve. But remember, everyone, we're not adding to the balance sheet. So unless dealers out there and unless naughty people out there are using Xrp, XLM, ADA, Sol, whatever, for naughty, nefarious things, we ain't adding that shit to the balance sheet anytime soon. So, talk to your local street pharmacist and ask them, are you using XRP? Because if not, it ain't going to be on the balance sheet, girlfriend. So it appears that both XRP and XLM have rebounded from the lows. And those lows were caused by what? The lack of follow-through from the government on regs. They promised to get them done by August, and what happened? They sure as shit ain't gonna happen. So the market sells off on that. Crypto Week was a big pump for both. And what was Crypto Week all about? Yo, let's get the Genius Act done. Let's get the Clarity Act done. Let's get the anti-CBDC action done. And what did they get done out of all that? The reality is they only got done the Genius Act. Because the Clarity Act is freaking dead as we know it. For real, it really is. The Senate looked at it and was like, you know what? We're going to do our own kind of thing over here. We're going to take elements of the Clarity Act, but we're really going to take our market structure bill and we're going to use that one. And then the House, you know how you had your Clarity Act? Well, hopefully you like our market structure bill because that's the one we're really going to pass and you better like it. Now, that being said, the optimism around regs can really add some fuel to the market. And we need that fuel because, man, it has not been that juicy as of late. $3 XRP, okay. 37-cent Xlm, okay. But we know there's more. We just need the regs for players to get in. Otherwise, they're going to keep going into stables, and we're seeing that happen. What about the ETFs? The only ones that got approvals for spot ETFs are BTC and ETH. Golden Pass. Stablecoins, only ones getting the juice. Stablecoin market cap, on the way straight up. Stablecoins, every day, news straight up. Alts, waiting. So, it's all about regs. And it's all up to the Senate right now. Yeah, we're fucked. I mean, if it's up to the United States Senate, we're so screwed. Like, seriously, we're so... When has the Senate done anything freaking good? Just be real with me here. Yeah. All right, that's your news roundup for today. Meridian, not going to cause price action. Regs definitely can cause price action. One good for the ecosystem, one good for the native token. One puts money in your pocket, one takes money out of your pocket. Choo-choo what? Well, read what's behind me. Choo-choo bitches.